We're on? Oh, we're on, sorry. I don't have AG tonight. I've got Josh back tonight, so we got a little confused. I got confused. I'm Traci, and welcome to tonight's episode of the LGBTQ Voice. So tonight we're going to be talking about youth and young adults in our community. What's happening with them? Where are they? Is there a need to get them involved in their community? So I am actually the guest for tonight. There aren't any guests. It's a back-to-school week, a lot going on. So we actually did some research tonight, and we're going to kind of let you guys know where kids can go in our community, outreach groups, rec centers, things like that. But I just want to kind of talk to you guys about social media and social networking, where our kids are. So when we talk on this show, and you guys know I'm a youth advisor for NB Agley, and we help kids ages 14 to 24 in our community. And we try and get our numbers up, just like there's Agleys all across Massachusetts. And we say, where are these kids? So our youth group marched in the Cape Verdean Parade. So we also said the same thing, is there were kids ages, birth to maybe 12 years old or so with their parents, and then all of a sudden it shot up to grandparents. So we've marched like 2 years in a row now, and we say the same thing right in New Bedford. Yes, with your South Coast LGBTQ network does the whole South Coast, but so many people show up for that day's event. Where are they all? I actually had a meeting last week with Mona, who's going to be on our show for civil rights, and we talked about the same thing with the Cape Verdean Parade. However, that age group of 14 to 24 just seemed to be missing. So we kind of work on our youth center. We're trying to work on a younger group, 8 to 13, called the Rainbow Club, and it's at 484 Pleasant Street. So I'll go over those informational places to go for the younger group. But again, where are these kids and how do we get to them? So next week when Mona's on the show, we're going to be talking about civil rights. We have the Human Relations Commission going to be on the show. And we actually have Marcy Pina Christian from the Human Relations Commission, and Mona Silver, as I said, and Bethany Photo talking about civil rights and things in the community. And we're also going to ask them where they feel the youth of color, not that all civil rights issues are of color, where these kids happen to be. So we talk about our show all the time, and we impact youth, but where are they and what can we do to help our kids? So during doing my research, and the kids are beside me, Kevin and Mariah are beside me, here's a list of 10 things, challenges that our youth face. Lack of employment opportunities. So again, if you're 14 and 15-year-olds have one work permit, hours of eligibility, 16, 17-year-olds have another one, hours of eligibility, and then 18 plus, but right now with minimum wage being at $11 an hour, a kid at 14 makes $11 an hour, and a person at 24 makes $11 an hour, a person, 55, can hire $11 an hour. There's less opportunities for youth to have employment. Failure to succeed in the education system is number 2. Issues related to body image, family problems, substance abuse, pressures of materialism, lack of affordable housing, negative stereotyping. And number 9 was a key one for us. We circled it like a dozen times. Pressures of 24-hour social networking. And number 10 is crime. But go back to the number 9 one, social networking. So we talk about social media shares content, social networks connects people. I see our kids at youth center, and we actually set boundaries, and just leave our phones to the side. We do the same thing at my home, or my son's home, and my foster kid. Dinner time, we kind of put our phones away, and we set those boundaries. So if we can set some sort of boundaries, for the kids being off social media, letting them know there's an appropriate time to and not to be on your phone. I remember when I was a kid, and I instilled it in my son, and I'm a new foster parent, so I said the same thing to her right now, that we used to have a 9 to 9 rule. 9 o'clock at night afterwards, the phone shouldn't ring, and before 9 o'clock in the morning, the phone shouldn't ring. And again, we had landlines back then, but even, as my son's 31 now, growing up, basically, the same rules apply, and I just try to teach, my foster kid the same thing. Get off the phone, interact with society in the community, and maybe not think that you have a need to be on social media, and maybe get out more in the community. So what we did is we kind of broke down some things for folks to do in the community. And I want to get back to the social media aspect because I have some more notes on that. But I want to make sure that we talk about what you can do for youth and young adults in our community. When I was doing the research, some of the stuff I was inundated with were K through 6, sixth grade, and nothing for that older generation. So we kept looking. But we have rec centers, and we actually looked up some stuff for Fall River and Mattapoisett. So actually, tomorrow night, they have a paint night fundraiser at the Fall River, and they don't call it recreation, they call it recreation. It's a recreation and prevention-based nonprofit for you and your family. Greater Fall River Recreation is a nonprofit again, serving the Greater Fall River community, including Fall River, Swansea, and Somerset areas. So again, you can hit up your local rec in your town, but I apologize. They have programs: basketball, crafts, dance, judo, tennis. You just click on it, click on the link, and kind of look to see what you might be interested in taking your kid to. I actually went to the car show at the airport this week. My foster kid likes likes old cars, so I Googled, our Facebook events. I think we talked about it on our show before, even though I'm talking about getting off social media. Go on it real quick and see what events are in your community. Click on it and make a plan, make a date with your kid. Yourself, get off social media as adults, as parents in our community, and head out and do these things at the rec centers. So again, there's Fall River does the Swansea area, Somerset, and Fall River. I hooked up us with Mattapoisett Recreation Center. They have fall programming, flag football, Bay State Gymnastics Academy, Center Stage Kids, Kid Fit, fencing, and they actually have adult fencing this year, which will be run in the run by Blackstone Valley Fencing Academy. Crafting, golf lessons at the Bay Club. So each town has its own rec center or community-based center. Hit them up, send an email out. It's just kind of Facebook is where I get some of the information from. Go online, Google, find out what's in your area, what programs, and introduce your kids to new things. And again, a couple weeks ago, my kid wants to be maybe a marine biologist. So we drove to Barnstable, and we were at the tidal flats, and they had a demonstration of somebody talking about sea life and what's going on out there. Make a plan, make a date with your kids, get them away, get them involved, and maybe get them interested, and maybe that would keep them involved in the community that we just don't see them in right now. So we also did some volunteer programming. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. You can check volunteerism in the community. And one of them we were researching was the Boys and Girls Club. And they actually have one in our area, so it's called Big Brothers. I'm sorry, I did say Boys and Girls Club. That's later. This is the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Massachusetts Bay. So they're www.massbaybigs.org. And again, they actually will, help mentor youth in our community. So community-based programming, as big in our community-based programming, you'll meet with your little twice a month for at least a year, whatever is convenient for you both. There's school-based programs, there's mentoring. So look into what's in our community. So like I said, we're going to keep doing each week different topics to help you guys in our community. If you guys have topic ideas, we met earlier today to do our programming up through October. So you can email me at Traci, Traci, at sclgbtqnetwork.org, and they'll put it up on the screen for you so you don't have to run around and write it down. And funding for the show. So if you want us to be able to get extra guests or, specific topics, again, just email me. But if you want to support the show, email leo@thebedfordguide.com. You can sponsor a show yourself. You can do the whole show. You can do a commercial ad space and help the money generated for the show. 50% of the proceeds goes to the network. And as you guys know, each week we talk about the network has different programs. So I'll just read a couple of them off to you real quick, and then we'll go back. So again, the LGBTQ Voices tonight, which is an amazing platform for us to be able to talk to you guys. So Pride Cafe is every Monday night. It's from 7 to 9, and it's 484 Pleasant Street. And again, it's not handicap accessible, but there is restrooms available, and we have a little kitchen where they have some light foods and snacks, and fostering acceptance, friendships, community support, advice, and openness. So our MB Ackley is our ages 14 to 24 group. And we meet every Thursday night from 5 to 7, and that's ages 14 to 24. And we talk about the social aspect. It's youth-driven, peer-led, and adult-supported program for the LGBTQ identified ages, again, 14 to 24. The program provides education, support, and leadership development. The goal is to support youth and recognize and demonstrate their own personal power, and to reduce HIV infections. And, you know, we keep talking about HIV probably show after show after show, because the numbers in New Bedford are increasing. We went from 5th in the state to 4th in the state, so the numbers are going even higher. And the reason why we do the show on civil rights, we do the show on HIV, you know, we do the show on stigmas, is because it's of color in our generation, ages 14 to 24, and it's in men, and men having sex with other men and transgender women. So each time that we talk about this show, it's to reduce HIV, stigmas in the community, and actually our youth group tries to do that week in and week out. We started yoga. It's a new program. So Monday nights from 5:30 to 6:30. I know Kevin goes almost every week. He loves it. And again, it's from 5:30 to 6:30 on Monday nights, and then Pride Cafe goes right afterwards. So you can go to yoga 5:30 to 6:30, chill out for a little bit, and then from 7 to 9, stay for Pride Cafe. But Pride Cafe is the 18-plus group, and the yoga is the 14 up. And we have the parents group. So we have a social group. So you may have a 7-year-old, 8-year-old transitioning, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old to 13-year-old unsure about their sexuality, their gender identity. See Eileen. Eileen runs a great group over there, and we call it the Rainbow Club. And it's basically the kid and the parent. You know, they come to the group, they meet other kids, they socialize, and the parents get support and get to ask the questions. The kids get to ask questions, and Eileen helps them week in and week out. We started Sobering Out, guys. So there's a social group, and again, it's Sundays from 9 to 10. It's a closed meeting for LGBTQAA. And again, all these things are at 484 Pleasant Street in New Bedford. If you guys have any questions about them, again, contact me. My email information is going to be on our page. And this one's not on our site, but it's the monthly LGBTQ Senior Supper Club. So again, they meet, it's held on the 4th Wednesday of every month at the Fairhaven Council on Aging, in partnership with Coastline Elderly Services. The Fairhaven Council on Aging exists with the coordination of LGBTQ senior services. And again, you can contact Ann Sylvia at 508-979-4029 and get the information to kind of help seniors in our community as well. Each show, we talk about different things, but tonight we're youth and young adults in the community. Anybody say anything?
Yes, Alex says hello. Hi, Alex. We also got a comment from Herbie E. Thompson.
Yep.
Wow, impressive. Well done! Exclamation point.
Thanks, Herbie.
And No Spin Zone Fall River said, great to see more things being done that reach out to all types of people.
And say that again? Who was it?
No Spin Zone Fall River.
No Spin Zone Fall River. Yes, so thanks for your comments. So each week we're going to talk about different subjects that impact our community. So we keep saying, where are these kids? How can we help the younger kids, to be socially active, to be inclusive, I guess is a good word, to stop the stigmas that are out there, to stop self-harm. We're going to be doing a show coming up on self-harm. And keep our kids involved at a younger age so they don't feel alienated. There's just so many things out there that our youth are feeling right now. I know Kevin had done some research for us and found a group, and I can't remember my own writing, so let me go back to my other group. Thanks, guys. It's called Dream Out Loud, and then there's Third Eye as well in New Bedford. And I know that we had a guest on a couple weeks ago talking about Third Eye, and they just had their 20th year anniversary of Third Eye the Saturday before. Actually, we were on 818 down at Wings Court, and it was an amazing event. And the artwork they had for Third Eye, and God, I can't remember the name of the artist right now. Amazing artwork. I'm sure it's probably still down there. They have the buildings in the back of the Wings Court. You can kind of check out the artist's work, the artist renditions of what they had done. But Dream Out Loud is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And they're actually in New Bedford. And again, even though we talk about the South Coast LGBTQ network and we're out in this area, if you guys know of something that I'll post it on the LGBTQ Voice page. I'll post it on the South Coast LGBTQ network page and let you guys know what's out there for people. And again, you can just tag us on our page. You can send me an email. But they mentor. They do this through creative writing, graphic design, music, theater, supportive environment for both youth and adults, and trying to get a creative change or make a positive change. One thing the network did is a couple of weeks ago I had gone to, and Fatima was a volunteer as well, and Rebecca had helped, and Eileen. We were actually at Fort Tabor with a lot of other organizations talking to kids and parents and whoever happened to be at Fort Tabor that day. And I actually met some great people, so I want to kind of talk about them as well. I met PIN, which is Parent Information Network. And again, even though the show is called the LGBTQ Voice, everything we do impacts our community. We want to talk about it, bring it to the forefront. And these things that impact our community, if 1 in 10 people are gay, in our community, that's what they say it is, and that impacts the gay community. So this is PIN, it's Planning for Life, the Parents of Transitional Age Youth Program, and that's what PIN, provides information, education, guidance, outreach, and support to parents of transitional age youth 14 to 24 who have emotional, behavioral, and or mental health challenges. Their services provide support groups, parent community education, resource center, one-on-one support. They actually have a website, and it's part of the BAMSI.org, so it's www.bamsi.org. And their goals, guys, to help families gain a sense of confidence in guiding their young adults through the process of transition to adulthood, to empower families to advocate for supports and services for the young adult, to provide information, education, and resources to families through the transitional process. You can contact them at 508-987-8779. And again, I know I talk fast. You guys can shoot me an email. I'll be more than glad to send it out to you guys. But I thought it was really cool that I met those guys, at that event. And on our show, we talk about, 38,000 grandparents out there raising their grandkids right now. Because that generation, again, we talk about where is this generation from 14 to 24? And now the grandparents are raising their kids' generation. So if you kind of look at it, that's almost 2 generations that are gone right now. So I actually met grandparents raising grandchildren, and I talked to Brenda Grace that day. They actually have a support group. They meet the 3rd Tuesday of every month. And I just thought it was amazing that they came out to the event. They had their booth. And says, we provide support to grandparents raising grandchildren with monthly support groups, informational, special programs, and referral services. You are not alone. There are many others just like you who have taken on the extraordinary responsibility of raising their grandchildren. You deserve support and praise. And again, I just thought that was so cool. And they're actually having an event coming up, so I want to kind of give them a shout out. So Sunday, September 9th, time is from 11 to 2 at the Cape Verdean Vets on 561 Purchase Street. Grandparents Raising Grandchildren Brunch. So if you guys want tickets, information, there's some phone numbers here. So Bonnie Ortiz is at 508-736-1966. Nikita Perry, 774-365-1270. And Letitia Silva, 774-473-0218. And again, grandparents raising their grandchildren. If you just want to send monetary donations, again, it's 119 Parker Street, New Bedford, Mass. Grandparents Raising Grandchildren Scholarship Committee. So I'm assuming they have a scholarship committee. So that must mean that they have a scholarship, and that's exactly what this fundraiser is for. So again, it's Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. You guys, you go to events, you see things at the park, and some people are afraid because somebody maybe want to sell me a window. I don't know what they want. Walk up to group, walk up to these people and ask them. That's what I did. That's how I got their information, even though I was there for the network representing us and the show and what we do in the community. It was just great to see, other organizations out there trying to reach the same population, that we are. The young kids, the young adults. I say kids. My kid's 31. I still consider him a kid. There's just so many outlets out there for us to find for our kids. Back in the day, I had my mom. My mom was a single, wasn't a single parent, but my dad was working, so we always had that one parent in the household. So right now, we talk about it that sometimes there aren't any. The kids are kind of not fending for themselves. I don't want to say they're fending for themselves, but a lot of kids are. The parents say, dinner's ready, cook it, I'll be home at certain time. And I do that like once a week right now for the show. I set my kid up, make sure they're set, and then I come back, and things like that. But I keep that communication open. We sit down every day and we talk about how's it going today. I'm a new foster parent, so it's only been a couple of weeks right now for me, but I'm trying to re-engage myself in communication like we do with our youth group, because I've been doing that for 7 years now, for ages, 14 to 24. And we talk about, what's the next step? We have these kids that have been with us for years, and now they're 25 years old, and what do we do with them? And that's what we say, oh, sorry, the program's done. Sorry, can't help you. But we have Pride Cafe, and we have that next step. Pride Cafe came to the youth center, and now it's called the South Coast LGBTQ Community Center. NB Agley, our youth group, is a member of the network organization, and all these programs are out of this one center. Maybe one day we'll have a bigger center, we'll be able to have a bigger facility, but right now, that's our start, and that's where we're at. I want to kind of talk to you guys about what's going on in Wareham. So they have Gleason Family YMCA. They have different programs that are going on over there all the time. But we also have locations in Dartmouth, Fall River, Mattapoisett, New Bedford, Swansea, and Wareham, where you guys can connect, where they have an after-school care program. Research some stuff. If you guys know that you have that second job as a parent, a single parent, grandparents, whatever it happens to be, that you don't want to leave your kid alone, 13-year-old, 14-year-old. And again, when we were 13, 14-year-old in my day, our parents left us alone. Now, these kids are so mature at a younger age with the socializing on Facebook, on internet, Google, you name it. Google is internet. Was it Twitter? God help me. Was it Snapchat? Am I missing any? Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. God help me. There's just too many out there. But there's after-school programs for these kids that they're not, I don't say fending for themselves, but sometimes I feel, and this is just my opinion, guys, and, for us talking to some of our kids and just seeing what's going on out there, it just seems that, we kind of leave the kids to kind of take care of themselves, and right now they're still kids. I saw something on Facebook the other day, and I know I'm talking about social media, about the kid playing with the umbrella in the rain and getting electrocuted. Well, we used to do that as kids all the time. We had no helmets, riding bikes. We rode mini bikes with no helmets. We were in the back of pickup trucks. There's just so many things we did. We had football games with kids in the neighborhood, tag, Red Rover, send somebody right over. There's so many things that we did as a unit, and how many times were you at your friend's house because their mom was home and all the kids ended up being at that one person's house. If you guys have the space and you guys have the time, do a socializing with your neighborhood. Say, talk to people in your area and say, I'm working late Tuesday night and Thursday night. What nights are you guys working that maybe we can have your kids to my house and my kids to your house? We need, I feel, and it's just me, my opinion, we need to go back to helping that person next door. Take the load off. If you know a neighbor is struggling and you see it, see if you can step up, add an extra date to your plate, add an extra plate to your meal, and say, hey, listen, you know what, I know you got a lot going on right now. How about on Tuesdays, whatever, have so-and-so come over for dinner or a lunch date or a play date or a hangout date, and get your kid off social media, get them off the Facebook. Sit down and watch TV together. Sit down and have the meal together. That's one thing I instilled with my kid and my foster kid. We sit and we have dinner together. It's not you go to your bedroom and I'm here by myself. We sit and we talk and we have dinner together. And I think that's, going back to basics and trying to figure out, different routines. And again, if you're a single parent and you're working, you're struggling, you're doing the best you can, look for the resources that we're going to try and give you guys tonight. So we actually we talked about the YWCA, YMCA, and we have the YWCA as well in New Bedford. That actually does, the South Coast. So there's the YWCA. Let's see what I have on that one. Hands-on theme-based activities and subjects such as art, physical education, math, science, literature, and the YWCA Hallmark programs for racial justice and economic advancement. Activities lead children through the discovery process as individuals, as members of a group. So again, members of a group, guys, not singular, not a social, butterfly, somebody that's can't, talk in a group or start a conversation. I remember there was a day that we talked about it earlier today, that when I first started doing the show, and I stutter a lot, it is what it is, I was like, But as kids get better with socializing with kids and they get older and they can pass that information on to a younger brother, a neighbor. I mean, we used to babysit when we were kids. How many kids even babysit today? Get to know your neighbors, get to know their routine, your best friends, do they have kids? And help where you can. So I'm going to skip back to some stuff that I was researching. So Mad Science. There's Mad Science of Southern Mass and Rhode Island. Didn't even have a clue before I started doing this research. I thought it was kind of cool. They have physical science, earth science, space science, and life sciences. They have after-school programs, vacationing and preschool things. They have birthday things that you can do. But they have K through 6. And again, 6th grade is all they do. But there's K through 2 groups, and they broke it out to 3rd grade to 6th grade groups. But they have a slippery science, learn about polymers, make your own slime. Good vibrations, learn about sound waves and pitch in this hands-on, ears-on class. That's how it says. That's how I read it. They have a dry ice. Where's the air? K through 2. Matter of fact, K through 6. Space sciences. Take an exciting look at your solar system. See a comet made up close. Made up close. Don't know if they're going to make it or not, how you make a comet up. And life sciences. Again, it's K through 6. Mission nutrition. Seeking our senses. Ecosystem exploration. Bugsy K through 6. Learn about insects and dispel some of their myths. Build a bug to take home. That'd be great. Don't build a bug and take it home because I don't do bugs. But you can contact these guys at 508-679-0081 or mail at madsciencesmari.com. And again, any of the information that I'm reading or saying, you can email me, again, Traci at southcoastlgbtnetwork.org or sclgbtq. It's amazing that when you Google what for kids to do, a lot of it, again, was K through 6th grade, 7th grade. We talk about the Y, it has things to do in your rec centers. There's also volunteering. We had a group on the other day that was looking a couple weeks ago, volunteering at your local farm. And what about churches? Volunteer at local churches, especially through the holidays. They're looking at volunteers to help pack food. A lot of food will come in, and they pack bags up for needy families. So they'll put in canned goods, stuffing, all kinds of mixes, cranberry sauce, anything to make pies or bake pies, things like that. So especially around the holidays, hit up your local churches, hit up your local food banks, see how you can help, see how you can volunteer, get the kids out and say, you know what? You need to volunteer. Go, I'll help you. Go figure it out. Go Google it, print it out, give me a couple ideas, and figure out how to get you there. I did find out by being a foster parent that my kid, for $28 a month with their high school pass, can get a bus pass. So they can kind of go for 31 days, unlimited rides. So if you're trying to figure out a safe route for your kid to travel, if you're working and whatnot, help them get the bus route, figure out where they're going to be going, and help generate an activity plan or an idea plan or maybe a goal-setting plan. Figure out, ideas that your kid might want to be what do I want to be when I grow up? And kind of say, listen, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? I mean, that's what I did with my new foster kid. We went to the Tidal Flats just to kind of check it out. And she's the one who told me about C Lab. So I know C Lab in the summertime in New Bedford has something to do, and it ended October 17th, I believe. There's just so many things out there. So we talked about the Boys Club and Girls Club earlier. How funny is it that I have like 6 pages of places to go for the Boys Club and nothing for the Girls Club? So I kind of thought that was kind of funny when I was doing the research. We talked about it offline with the guys. But for the Girl Scouts, you can email your questions to customer care at gsema.org or call us at 844-306-4736. And then the Boys Club, you can actually just Google the Boys Club and put it in a zip code, and everything comes up. There's all over Fairhaven, New Bedford, can't see where this one is, St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. They're just all over the place. So again, the Boys Club, the Girls Club, they're there. Use them as a resource. Check out what they have. Oh, did you have something for me? Nothing? Oh, they're just talking to each other. Stuff fall from the ceiling again? No? We were in the other room and stuff kept falling from the ceiling, so. One of the things we were talking about while we were doing the research is activity tree. So I was looking at some ideas and it said activitytree.com. So when I did it, I just hit activity tree. It came up Summer Camp New Bedford because I was looking at different things to try and find. And activitytree.com, again, it's first grade through fifth grade. So how can we help other groups in our community? If you guys know of any groups, we talk about Third Eye on our show. We just talked about Dream Out Loud for that extra age group of 14 to 24-year-old. If you guys know of anything, any groups or organization that we can share the information to figure out where our youth are they all hiding? Is it social media? Are they home? I know it's summertime. I know it's getting hot. But in wintertime, we know they're going to be more home because it's going to be colder. Nobody wants to walk. But when I was doing this research, it has different classes. They had karate classes. They had Buttonwood Park Zoo. It tells you what's going on. And all you do is you click on it. It gives you a website and details, schedule of events. There's soccer camps. Michael's and, what was the other? Joanne Fabrics. They have craft nights that you can go and learn different craft groups. So Michael's does a 3-year-old to 12-year-old group. The cooking, art, birthday parties, day camp, summer camp. And then the Joanne Fabrics was ages 5 years and up. They have cooking, art, birthday parties, day camp, and summer camp as well. And again, there's talk about soccer camps, There's a Dartmouth YMCA has swimming, sports skills, arts, nature, animals, day camp, archery, and summer camp. And that's, again, South Dartmouth. Westport, again, had the British soccer camp. And a lot of these were, Tabor Academy has a summer program, which I'm sure is probably over by now, but that's Marion, Mass. But there's so many things out there that you guys can research and do for yourselves. But one of the things I want to kind of talk about, you guys, is make a date with your kid. Make a date, set some boundaries. You know, just put your phone away. My phone, like I said, every time we do the show, I leave it on for just so I can see what time it is. Other than that, I have, the kids over here kind of helping me with the time frame and let me know what questions people have or comments people have. We talked over, no phones at dinner. Make plans and date with your kids. If you make the date with your kid, don't break it. We talked online because, again, our youth at the youth center, ages 4 to 24, and they asked a couple of them, what is it that, you yourself have a hard time with? And it's trust. Their parents or other people in the community of adulthood or people that, that you're looking up to break those things they say they're going to do to you. So it breaks the trust, and or you fear the consequences. You don't want to talk to them about what happened because you're afraid you're going to be yelled at. You want to talk to them, but every time you do, they're yelling at you because they're stressed, they have issues, and they want to know, but do they really, really, really want to know and put down their own phone to help you with what your needs are? So again, as a parent out there, again, a lot of these are just my opinions. Make a plan with your kid. Take the time to figure out, if I can't get there today, how can I help my kid tomorrow, get there? Reach out to kids and other people in your community. And, I just want to go back to the social networking real quick. The pressures of 24-hour social networking out there. Every time you look around, electronics seems to be the social babysitter. How can we break away and get our kids back? How can we break away from the social babysitting and not have to worry about, where our kids are learning their information? And again, we talk about it, Mona and I met, again, we talked about it earlier in the show, that we met about next week's show about civil rights and stuff going on. And we were actually at dinner, we had lunch at Palace Pizza on County. Awesome, thank you for lunch. And a family came in behind us, two moms and about maybe 5 or 6 kids, and they're beautiful looking kids. And all of a sudden, one of the kids is screaming and yelling in the background, and Mona and I were trying to hear each other, and the kid was screaming because he didn't get his own bag of chips, and the mom had said, well, you need to share it. Well, all of a sudden, the kid's still screaming, and the mom just grabs the kid and said, all right, let's go up. Now, I'm thinking, well, maybe she's going out to the car, she's going to discipline him, bring him back in and say, okay, that's it. Nope, she went up and bought him his own bag of chips. And she said, here you go, now you're all set. I think that's part of our problem. We're just putting a Band-Aid on a fix where we should have just said maybe, no, that's it. At one point or another, it needs to stop. And I know it's not easy out there. I talk about, when my kid was younger, Derek was ADHD, and it wasn't easy from time to time, but the first time he acted out, when we went out, we went home. And we set the tone, we set the guideline. It's not always easy parenting from a divorced household, but, me and his dad ran it as one household, even though we were two, the same rules applied. Then the kid tries to play one parent against the other parent. We called each other up and we communicated. Communication on the phone, we both went to parent-teacher night. We both went to his, medical appointments. We both were involved in his life. I don't want to say my kid's perfect because he's far from it, but I'm hoping he's better off than, some of the way that I see some of our kids today. And my kid was part of our youth group. I am part of NB Agley, and my kid was part of SIGGIA, Cape and Islands Gay Straight Youth Alliance. There's just questions out there that at the time, his dad could answer being a straight man, and I could answer being a gay woman, but being a gay man, I couldn't help my kid with that. So I reached out before I even became an adult advisor. My kid was 18 then. So my son went from 18 to 22, a support group, and he's still friends today with people he's met there, and he's 31 years old. So those people that you meet impact your life on a daily basis, positive or negative. So we're just trying to get the more positive groups out there. So if you guys know anybody, any groups or organizations, 0 to 24-year-old that could help people in our community, again, hit me up at Traci at sclgbtqnetwork.org. And if you want to sponsor a show, hit up leo@thebedfordguy.com. And again, it's going to be a short night tonight. School's back this week. There's a lot going on in the community. Anybody else have something to say before we head out? Nope. We have a new backdrop. Hope you guys like it. Thanks, AJ's not here. Sorry, Josh. Thanks, Josh, for putting that up. It's a little different than the gray screen. But yeah, hit us up, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot.